Visited several countries in Asia, Malaysia, Japan, South Korea. He avoided Vietnam just for old time's sake. But the big event was his sit down with Xi. Just before their talk, Trump sent China a message. He announced that he's ordered the Pentagon to start testing nuclear weapons again. And that's right, if they won't give him the peace prize the regular way, he's going to take it by force.
Actually, it's different because Donald Trump was much less successful in the first term in creating a climate of fear. This is what he's after. He wants to make the law firms afraid. He wants to make universities afraid. He wants to make immigrants afraid. He wants to...
Man, Donald Trump just had one of those weeks where the universe seemed to wake up and say, yeah, let's humble this guy for fun. And honestly, Jimmy Kimmel and Adam Schiff were the perfect messengers for it. One came in swinging with jokes, the other with pure ego demolition. Together, they somehow managed to blow up the internet. Because really, when late-night comedy collides with congressional shade, you already know it's gonna be chaos. So, what exactly did they pull off this time? Well, you're gonna wanna stick around till the end for this one.
They won't give him the peace prize the regular way, he's gonna take it by force. Reporters on Air Force One asked him why he decided to do this and why he decided to do it right before he met with the Chinese, and his answer was basically, I did it because they did it.
Afraid. He wants to make citizens afraid. He wants to make news organizations, CBS and Paramount, afraid. He wants to make ABC afraid, and he is succeeding. He is succeeding. And more than anything else.
Donald Trump's been through it all. Bankruptcies, indictments, and honestly enough spray tan to be labeled a public safety concern. But this time, he got hit with something totally different. A 1-2 punch that came straight out of two opposite worlds. Late-night sarcasm and Capitol Hill shade. And let me tell you, he never saw it coming.
Doing testing, I think it's appropriate that we do also.
Any details around the testing, sir? Like where, when?
It'll be announced. You know, we have test sites. It'll be announced.
Well, I have a feeling those test sites are like Jeffrey Epstein's house, where he's hiding the file. Tomorrow will mark a full month that our government's been shut down. Yesterday, we learned that insurance premiums for millions of Americans, their health care, are about to skyrocket.
If you're enjoying this video, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and tap the bell icon because this week was wild. Jimmy Kimmel and Adam Schiff didn't plan a thing. No coordination, no secret setup, yet somehow they're separate. Moments lined up perfectly. Like the universe itself decided to host a cosmic roast just to wreck Trump's mood, his night, and honestly, probably his breakfast the next morning too.
Make Republicans in Congress afraid because he wants them to do his will. He wants the judges to be afraid they'll get impeached if they cross him, afraid for their own personal safety if they cross him. He wants to create a climate of fear, and he has done so in 6 months, which is radically different than the first term. In part, it's different because in the first term, there were at least some people to stand.
It all started pretty harmless. Or, well, as harmless as anything can be when Trump's name starts trending online. Jimmy Kimmel was just doing his usual thing, probably roasting some celebrity drama when out of nowhere, Trump jumped back into the spotlight like he always does, just to remind everyone that he's still the main character in America's ongoing chaos.
That's supposed to review projects like this, preferably before they happen. It's called the Commission of Fine Arts. Their job is to oversee new federal architecture, or it was anyway. Trump fired all of them. They were supposed to advise the president on matters of design and aesthetics to preserve the dignity of the nation's capital, but this is Trump's idea of dignified aesthetics, so now Trump's planning to bring in a new group whose tastes align more with his.
Naturally, Kimmel couldn't resist taking a few swings, and man, those jokes hit harder than a tax audit. Within minutes, Trump's name was all over the internet again, practically begging for sympathy that of course never showed up. Meanwhile, over in Washington, Adam Schiff, the guy who lives rent-free in Trump's nightmares, was calmly delivering another masterclass in quiet destruction. He didn't shout, didn't grandstand, didn't even need Trump in the room. He just reminded everyone why Trump's least favorite phrase might forever be congressional oversight. And somehow, between Kimmel's punchlines and Schiff's PowerPoint precision, the two managed to completely unravel Trump's carefully built chaos. The funny part? They exist in totally different worlds. Kimmel's segment came first, and as always, it was deadly. Wrapped in laughter. Every time Trump's name pops up, you can feel the audience brace themselves. Like, oh boy, here we go again. Because with Kimmel, you never know what he's gonna spotlight. The contradictions, the wild statements, or that constant paradox of Trump claiming to be both the greatest winner and the biggest victim alive. At this point, it's basically performance art.
This is going to be a disaster for our economy. It's going to be a disaster for hardworking families that are going to have to pay more for auto parts or getting their car fixed or, buying groceries or anything else. These other countries, many of whom are our closest allies, are going to retaliate against us. It's just simply going to escalate from here. I talked to farmers out in California who still haven't recovered the market share they lost during the first Trump administration from the ill-fated tariffs then. So this is going to be...
This time, the timing couldn't have been more perfect. Kimmel's jokes landed right as Schiff was making headlines for a move that sent Trump's team scrambling faster than his lawyers do at 2 a.m. And while Kimmel was out here roasting for laughs, Schiff wasn't joking around. He was making history. And that's the part Trump hates most. There's nothing that gets under his skin like someone who can tear him down without yelling, name-calling, or tossing around the word tremendous. Schiff's approach is pure precision, calm, factual, surgical, and it drives Trump absolutely nuts. The internet, of course, ate it up. Within hours, timelines were packed with memes, GIFs, and people saying exactly what Trump never wants to hear, that he'd just been destroyed. Because sure, getting roasted by a comedian hurts. Getting outsmarted by a congressman? Even worse. But when both happen in the same week, that's not just bad luck, and that's career-level trauma.
Trump thinks this is his house, which it is. When you stay at an Airbnb, you're not allowed to blow out a wall. This is he's not even a renter, he's a guest in the... He thinks he's OJ, he's actually Kato Kalin. I wonder if he's gonna invite the winners of the World Series to this new ballroom of his. It was a tough night for the Dodgers last night after they squeezed one out in 18 innings on Monday night. They had a 9-inning game, and the Blue Jays beat them. But the game, it may have been 9 innings. It felt long for Shohei Ohtani, who played all 18 innings Monday and then had to turn around and pitch in last night's game. Even if
Kimmel's jokes weren't just aimed at Trump himself. They were about the complete absurdity of the circus that follows him everywhere. The rallies that feel more like cult festivals, the press releases that read like bad fan fiction, and the endless cries of victimhood coming from a guy flying around on private jets. Kimmel didn't even have to exaggerate. He just held up a mirror and let reality do the work. That's the real genius. Trump's life has basically become both the setup and the punchline. Meanwhile, Schiff's takedown was way more controlled, almost surgical. He wasn't out there cracking jokes, but his calm, steady delivery hit with the same rhythm and precision. Every time he talks about Trump's chaos, it doesn't even sound political anymore. It's like a teacher calmly reading out the report card of a student who keeps failing the same test. And the truth is, Trump can't win that kind of fight. Not because he's outmatched intellectually, though you could argue that, but because Schiff operates in a world Trump just doesn't get, the realm of self-control.
government, or do we not get that because he doesn't like us?
We will get help. We will get help. But it is alarming that they're talking about, for the first time ever, trying to condition relief after a natural disaster on completely unrelated things. But we're pushing back hard. And in my conversations with my Republican colleagues, I'm reasonably optimistic that they will drop that idea. We just saw some storms hit other parts of the country, different colored states. We don't want to get into a practice where you discriminate on natural disasters, whether hitting red states or...
The internet turned the whole thing into a digital bonfire. Clips of Kimmel's roast were spreading everywhere, right next to footage of Schiff's calm takedown. And together it felt like the universe had decided to host its own Trump takedown marathon. Fans of both guys were celebrating like they'd just won the Super Bowl of sarcasm. Even people who don't normally care about politics jumped in, just to see Trump trending for all the wrong reasons. It's wild how Trump's relationship with both comedy and politics keeps evolving. Schiff's words, though, hit differently. They were like a slow, sarcastic clap from reality itself saying, "We've seen this show before, and it doesn't end well." And Trump, being Trump, couldn't just let that go. He did what he always does when things start to fall apart. Ranted, deflected, and played the victim card. The irony of it all is incredible. The man who built his whole image around being untouchable now spends half his time claiming he's being persecuted by comedians and congressmen. It's like Superman spending all day tweeting about kryptonite. But that's Trump in a nutshell. He craves attention but can't stand ridicule, demands loyalty but completely falls apart when faced with honesty.
If you've been watching our show over the past 2 nights, you know I've been working on teeing up a major event. I think it could be bigger than the Super Bowl and Jake Paul fighting Dick Van Dyke combined. It could be very big. And all the credit goes to our Commander-in-Chief, Donald Trump, who strongly believes he would trounce 2 of his least favorite ladies in an IQ test.
They have Jasmine Crockett, a low IQ person. They have
AOC's low IQ. You give her an IQ test, have her pass like the exams that
Trump craves admiration, even from people who are clearly laughing at him, not with him. And when someone like Kimmel turns him into the punchline, it cuts deep, because that's the kind of rejection fame can't fix. On the other side, Schiff represents something Trump hates even more: consequences. Schiff doesn't need to humiliate him with jokes. He uses evidence. He doesn't shout, doesn't insult. He just lays out the facts, and the truth itself does all the damage. Every calm, measured statement from Schiff feels like a quiet reminder of how fragile Trump's chaos really is. By midweek, the story had taken over. Trump had been roasted from two sides and couldn't seem to recover. His supporters tried spinning it as another round of unfair targeting, but the internet wasn't buying it. You can only play the victim for so long before people realize that's just your whole brand. And when Kimmel's humor and Schiff's logic collide in the same week, it creates this perfect storm of humiliation that no campaign rally can fix. It's almost poetic. The man who once dominated the news through pure outrage, now getting overshadowed by people using his own tricks against him. Attention and irony. Schiff turns composure into a weapon. Kimmel turns laughter into one. And together, they deliver a cultural double tap that even some of Trump's biggest fans have to look at and think, maybe the magic's finally gone.
President Trump for all the water, for the spigot that he turned to send all that water down the state?
Thank you was not exactly the two words. One of the two was the same. All right.
Are you ever, or at this point, are you surprised by anything?
I am surprised just how quickly they have created a climate of fear.
The memes just kept getting worse and funnier. One called Trump's Week a new reality show keeping up with the indictments. Another showed Schiff's calm expression next to Kimmel's grin with the caption, "Two different men, same outcome." Trump yelling at his TV. You couldn't scroll for more than a minute without seeing another version of the same joke. Trump losing a fight he didn't even know he was in. And that's what makes it hilarious. He keeps walking right into it. Every time Kimmel cracks a joke, Trump takes the bait. Every time Schiff calmly drops a new statement, Trump reacts exactly how they expect him to. Loud, defensive, and over the top. It's this never-ending loop of self-inflicted chaos that would almost be tragic if it weren't so ridiculously entertaining. People always wonder why Trump keeps getting roasted so easily, and honestly, the answer couldn't be simpler. He hands them the material himself. No one has ever been more committed to being the main character, even when the story's a disaster. Kimmel doesn't need to make stuff up. Schiff doesn't need to exaggerate. All they have to do is point out what Trump already did and watch the internet laugh, or cringe. By the end of the week, nothing had changed. Trump was fuming. Kimmel was smirking. Schiff was completely unbothered. And the internet was feasting on every second of it, turning the commentary into something between hilarious and downright brutal.
Let AOC go against Trump. Let Jasmine go against Trump.
I agree. It sounds like a challenge, right? Now, as I've mentioned, not only do I want to see this contest happen, I want to make it happen. I believe this would be a once-in-a-lifetime television event. I want to give our brilliant, bigly-brained president a chance to teach those left-wing lightweights a thing or two about brain power live on national television. I'm calling it the James C. Kimmel Cognitive Aptitude and Mental Brilliance Invitation.
Late-night shows, podcasts, even random TikToks jumped in, replaying Trump's meltdown like it was the nation's favorite sport. And for once, it wasn't about politics or policy. It was pure performance art. Deep down, Trump probably loved it. Not the mockery, but the spotlight. Because for someone who's built his whole identity around being noticed, even negative attention feels better than silence. But there's a big difference between being relevant and being ridiculous, and lately he's been sprinting toward the ridiculous side like it's an Olympic event. Kimmel's laughter lingered long after his show ended, and it perfectly captured the contrast. Two men from totally different worlds, exposing the same truth from opposite angles. Kimmel proved that satire can slice through hypocrisy better than any lecture, and Schiff showed that calm, steady logic can hit harder than any insult. Together, their moments reminded everyone that Trump's biggest enemy isn't the media, the Democrats, or even his critics. It's his own inability to stop pouring gasoline on every fire he starts.
If you could simply declassify by thinking about it, then frankly, if that's his view, he's even more dangerous than we may have thought. Because with that view, he could simply spout off on anything he read in the presidential daily brief or anything he was briefed on by the CIA director to a visiting Russian delegation or any other delegation and simply say, well, I thought about it, and therefore, when the words came out of my mouth, they were declassified. No, people work hard to get that information. People put their lives at risk to get that information. That information protects.
By the end of the week, everyone had moved on. Everyone except Trump, who was probably up late again, wondering why people keep laughing. Maybe it's because after all these years, he still treats politics like a reality show that nobody takes seriously anymore. Or maybe it's because every time he tries to look strong, someone like Kimmel or Schiff flips it into the most quotable moment of irony. Or maybe America's just gotten so used to the chaos that laughing at it feels like the only sane thing left to do. Whatever the reason, one thing's certain. It was a terrible week to be Trump, and an amazing one for anyone with a sense of humor. Kimmel brought the laughs, Schiff brought the logic, and together they proved that sometimes karma doesn't need planning, just perfect timing. And in Trump's world, timing is everything. Whether it's a joke on late-night TV or a line buried in a congressional report, it always ends the same way. Trump raging, the internet roaring, and everyone else realizing that the man who once claimed he could handle anything can't handle being laughed at. And honestly, that's poetic justice, with a punchline.